There's a quiet tension many people feel but struggle to explain. Life, by most external measures, is stable. The bills are paid. The pantry is full. The environment is safe. Technology has made daily living more efficient than at any other time in history. And yet beneath that stability, something feels off. There's a restlessness that does not go away with comfort, a fatigue that is not solved by rest, a sense that something essential is missing, even when nothing obvious is wrong. This experience is often described in personal terms: burnout, anxiety, lack of motivation, but when it's viewed collectively, it points to something deeper. It points to a widespread loss of purpose in modern life. To understand this more clearly, it helps to revisit the Universe 25 experiment. In 1968, researcher John B. Calhoun created what was intended to be a perfect environment for mice. The Universe 25 experiment provided everything the mice needed: unlimited food and water, protection from predators, controlled climate, ample shelter. At first, the population grew rapidly. Social structures formed, roles were established, the colony functioned as expected. But as the population increased, something unexpected happened. The environment remained abundant, yet the social system began to break down. Mice could no longer find meaningful roles. Parenting deteriorated. Social bonds weakened. Eventually, reproduction stopped altogether. The colony did not die from starvation or disease. It died from behavioral collapse. Calhoun described this as the first death, the loss of purpose and function before physical death. While humans are far more complex than mice, the concept of the first death translates in a striking way. It is not a physical death, but a psychological and relational one. It shows up as a loss of direction, a disconnection from meaningful contribution, a sinking sense of identity, a lack of motivation to build or sustain life-giving structures. This is what the loss of purpose in modern life often feels like. A person may be physically well, financially stable, and socially connected on the surface, yet internally disengaged. The external foundation, the external framework of life remains intact, but the internal drive to participate in it begins to fade. One of the central assumptions challenged by the Universe 25 experiment is the idea that comfort leads to fulfillment. In reality, comfort without purpose often produces the opposite effect. Humans are not designed for passive existence. We are shaped by responsibility, by contributing, by relationship, by growth through challenge. When these elements are removed or diminished, the result is not peace, it's stagnation. This helps explain why the loss of purpose in modern life can occur even in environments of abundance. Needs are met, but meaning is not formed. It's important to distinguish between relief and fulfillment. Relief comes from the removal of discomfort. It is necessary and valuable. Safety, stability, and provision, they matter deeply. But fulfillment comes from something different. Fulfillment is rooted in being needed, having a role, contributing to something beyond oneself, participating in a larger story. When relief becomes the primary goal of life, fulfillment diminishes. This is one of the hidden tensions in modern society. We have become highly effective at reducing discomfort, but less intentional about cultivating purpose. In many ways, modern life mirrors aspects of the Universe 25 experiment. We have constant access to food and resources, digital connection without physical presence, endless entertainment and distraction, increased personal freedom. Yet alongside those benefits, there's this growing sense of disconnection. The loss of purpose in modern life is not caused by a single factor. It is shaped by a combination of influences. Economic systems that prioritize productivity over meaning. Technology that replaces interaction with consumption. Cultural messaging that emphasizes self-definition without structure. Reduced intergenerational connection. Fewer clear pathways into adulthood and responsibility. Individually, these shifts may seem manageable, but together they create an environment where purpose is no longer naturally formed. One of the most significant shifts contributing to the loss of purpose in modern life is the way identity is formed. In the past, identity was often shaped through family roles, community expectations, cultural traditions, shared responsibilities. Today, identity is frequently framed as something to be individually constructed. While this offers freedom, it also creates pressure. Without stable reference points, individuals are left to define themselves without clear guidance or boundaries. This can lead to confusion rather than clarity, exploration without direction, and expression without grounding. The result is not necessarily empowerment, but often uncertainty. The loss of purpose in modern life does not usually happen suddenly. It's often gradual. It looks like choosing comfort over challenge repeatedly, avoiding responsibility because it feels overwhelming, replacing real connection with digital interaction, drifting rather than deciding. Over time, these patterns shape our behavior. Engagement decreases, motivation fades, life becomes more about maintenance rather than movement. This mirrors what was observed in the later stages of the Universe 25 experiment. The mice did not immediately collapse. They slowly withdrew from the behaviors that sustained their community. Purpose does not form in isolation. It is shaped within a structure. Structure provides boundaries that guide behavior, roles that create meaning, rhythms that sustain consistency, relationships that reinforce identity. Without structure, purpose becomes abstract. It may be desired, but it's not lived out easily. This is one of the key insights we take from the Universe 25 experiment. The environment met every physical need, but it did not sustain the structures necessary for meaningful participation. The loss of purpose in modern life is often framed as a personal issue, something to be solved through motivation, mindset, or productivity strategies, but it's also a structural issue. It reflects environments that provide comfort but lack formation. They offer freedom but lack direction. They encourage expression but lack grounding. Understanding this changes the approach. Instead of asking how individuals can find purpose, we begin to ask how purpose can be supported and sustained. If purpose has been weakened, it can also be rebuilt. This does not require rejecting modern life, but it does require intentional realignment. Restoration begins with small but meaningful shifts, like re-engaging with responsibility, even when it feels uncomfortable, like prioritizing relationships that require presence and investment. It looks like establishing rhythms that create consistency. And it also looks like seeking contribution rather than constant consumption. These steps are not about adding pressure, they're about restoring balance. The Universe 25 experiment shows what happens when a population loses its ability to function within its environment. The lesson is not that abundance is dangerous, but that abundance without purpose is incomplete. The loss of purpose in modern life is not inevitable. It is a signal. It points to the need for something deeper than comfort. Identity that is grounded, roles that are meaningful, relationships that are real, rhythms that sustain life rather than drain it. When these elements are present, purpose begins to return. The loss of purpose in modern life is only one piece of a larger conversation. In the next episode, we will explore how the collapse of social roles contributes to identity confusion and disconnection. If this resonated with you, you may want to continue exploring what it looks like to return to alignment rather than drift in comfort. Check out my books, Creation Needs a Sabbath and The Eden Way. Those are great places to start. Until next time, stay healthy in heart.